Hello, Professor. Welcome back to the next part of my presentation, which covers the presentation of our second deliverable. I apologize, I'm kind of running out of time, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to clean up the audio on this. I might just have to submit it as it is, but I don't think you'll mind too much. I think you understand. But just to kind of refresh you on what happened the last time, you requested that we create a grading system which creates a list and runs off of a loop, and that was the first part of the deliverable, which I created an infinite loop, which you submit the grades, and it was designed to be as simple and basic as possible. This one deviates obviously from that initial request, in that we are tasked to we create the same empty list, and as you should be aware, if we didn't create this list, the program wouldn't have dedicated space to be able to write down the variables that are being entered into the program. So it's important to have that empty list. It's pretty common. I've noticed anytime I've seen people developing their programs, they almost always have to start off with an empty list or a dictionary or something. This kind of covers both of them here. So unlike the first deliverable, this one keeps everything in its own little encapsulations. So I know we weren't really told to create the main part as its own defined function, but I guess I did it anyway. But basically, as tasked, I have the main part of the function which creates the list right here, and then there's another function down here. This one is the processing for entering the grades, and this also runs through the main part of the function to call. This gets called as a parameter in order to increment anything typed in by 65 by 10 by an extra 10. There's probably many reasons why this could be beneficial, including but not limited to data input sanitation. So it's kind of like a precursor to that. And I've experimented a little bit with input sanitation in some of the demonstrations that I posted in the discussions. So that was pretty cool too. And how the program knows to increment the algorithms are right here, using the if statements, and it knows when to break. It'll basically it'll loop. So this is a while true. So while this loop remains true, so every time there's an input and it gets defined as a grade input variable until the last item on the list. So it's going to keep on inserting it into that list above, and then when the last item on the list is done, it's going to break that loop, and it's going to move on to the next function. So that's pretty much, it's pretty straightforward with that one. Once done is a hit, I can actually show you. So So the first part, enter grade, you move the cursor, enter grade, enter grade, enter grade 34 is going to be increased by 10, but you're not going to see it here. Enter grade, and then as soon as I hit done, that's this right here, printing the results, the average, lowest, highest, and variance are all part of this definition here, which creates, it initializes a dictionary. And this dictionary initializes with a 0. So it starts off all the values as 0, and those values are going to get incremented based on the logic right here. It's all the same stuff that normally would be found, you know, in the basic form of the program. This was very, very, very shortened, but they're all the same. It's all the same math logic. It's all built in, the minimum, maximum. It's creating variables as definitions, and this is the logic, and it's running through each of the list items. So it's going to call all the list items and process every single one of them through every single one of these, and it happens so fast that it just, you blink and it's already done. Even on old machines, Python is not the oldest programming language, but it's been around long enough. If it was running on any machine, this would happen very fast. Even though it's calling on a list, it doesn't really matter because the list is sequential. Once this happens, it's going to store all these as a dictionary. The dictionary starts with 0 and then ends with the new items, the average, lowest, highest, and variance, and they get matched with their keys. And you know that they're matched with the keys because you're referencing them from here, and you're telling it that this is here, and it's being defined right here as well. So boom to boom to boom to boom to boom, and that gets updated. And then we have the final part of this presentation here, print results. This basically just creates a printing functions for a defined set of printing functions, which use all the variables as parameters. Just average grade. I mean, I could really change that to whatever I wanted to. You can see that it's here, and it's gonna call through each of the items with an accuracy of 2 decimal points. And you're gonna get all the items that were translated through this algorithm here and placed into the dictionary are going to get defined as logic here, and you'll see the results. So it's literally the same program here, just a little bit easier to understand. Everything's in its own little encapsulations, and that's really important for modular development, because what this allows me to do is I can take these definitions and I can copy and paste them into other programs, and then I can just take this print results. I mean, I wouldn't really want to do that with this, but you get what I'm saying. I could do it with calculate grades. I just have to understand that calculating grades is essentially a dictionary. So all these items are going to be called on. And as long as the logic connects like there's a way for somebody to understand what's going on, then it happens. So that basically we have that. Now for the next part of the deliverable, I hope that I can expand quite a bit on this. I know we're gonna turn all this into a class, and it's gonna be really cool to do this, because the class, basically just like these individual parts here, are gonna create a whole encapsulation for the whole program. But I have kind of some ideas I want to experiment with and see if they work. You know, we live in a really interesting time. A little bit scary, but very interesting. You know, we're in the age of AI, and you know, a lot of people are not sure what to do with it, or what. You know, I'm just kind of, well, Google was once a scary thing, and it kind of evolved, and I guess it still is kind of scary, but I think it's going to happen anyway, and you may as well just keep up with the times, and there's a lot of good that can come with it. You know, it's better to just, you know, see how you can be part of the solution on helping it to evolve in a way that, you know, works out for everybody, and experiment with the ethical side of it, and, you know, see what you can do. There's definitely a lot you can learn, and there's definitely, you know, just like anything that makes life easier, it might have a tendency to want to make life too easy. You just have to learn how to use it to challenge yourself, and I think over time you're going to figure out that we will evolve the system to make it work for everybody's needs, and, you know, to make it so the people that don't want anything to do with it can, you know, still have an equal pathway through life, you know, versus somebody like me who uses it so much that, you know, I pretty much like am starting to understand how it works on the inside, and that's getting kind of scary at this point that I can do that. But I guess, you know, that's part of being an IT information systems major, is I'm supposed to dabble in technology. You know, it's my job to do that. If I'm not doing that, I'm not doing my job. So, you know, the more I do that, the better. You know, I wouldn't be, you know, I wouldn't be doing this if I truly thought it was going to be taking away my job. I think if anything, it might be altering my job. You know, I just have to shift my perspective to go along with it and to evolve with it, you know, rather than getting scared of it and running away from it. Well, before I pivot too much off of topic, I will drop this discussion here. I think this demonstration pretty much gets the point across, and I look forward to showing you the next demonstration when the final project with all the deliverables is put together. And thank you for listening.